Hello, my name is Pia Cohen and I'm the online editor for the Gateway. This is the forum report for the Augustana Forum that happened on February 24th in the evening. Dave Conrad, the incumbent bog rep who is running for re-election, faced tough questions over decisions he made during his first term in office. Amlan Bose, an incumbent SU councillor, criticized Conrad's behavior over the past year and accused him of siding with the university administration when he should have been siding with students. This behavior led Bose to question the motives behind Conrad's involvement in student governance writ large, and Bose asked if Conrad was there to collect job references for after he's gone. In response, Conrad said, in terms of his student advocacy, the proof is in the pudding.
I'd invite you to look at my last term's progress documents that I've made public on my website, my platform. I'd invite you to talk with my student councillor co-workers and fellow students on the board.
Conrad said that yes, he did want executive deans initially, but ultimately he fought against its implementation at the board, because that's what students wanted.
I did side with you, Alberta, in the GFC conversation, General Faculties Council conversation, because I felt that college deans were probably a benefit to students and staff because they would help spread out workload. But then eventually, when it got to the board, I did stay faithful to representing student need. I spoke to the fact that the board needed to choose trust to develop community buy-in. So they should have voted for college deans. And ultimately, I believe that my advocacy in that space had an impact on the compromise that was made between the GFC model and the initial board model.
Vice President external candidate Christian Fotang was asked by SU Councillor Amlan Bose if the Council of Alberta University Students, or CAUSE, is worth the membership fee that the SU dishes out, calling CAUSE an incompetent and useless organization that feeds off of UASU money. Councillor Bose said that the CAUSE has failed to stand up on behalf of students and that everyone sees the organization as a joke. Though Bose's words are strong, he does make a good point. The average student doesn't know about CAUSE or the projects that they pursue. However, Fotang came to the defense of CAUSE, highlighting all the wins it has had over the past few years, such as prior tuition freezing, advocating for implementation of Bill 19, which capped tuition and non-instructional fees, and previously delaying the implementation of performance-based funding.
I disagree with the idea that CAUSE, the Council of Alberta University Students, has been incompetent or useless at all. Like, its history shows that it's actually gotten a lot of wins for students throughout the province.
It looks like, just like his predecessor, the current presidential candidate and chair of CAUSE, Rowan Lee, Christian Fotang will continue to advocate for students through CAUSE. If you haven't already noticed, it has been a pretty bare election in terms of candidates. For the first time in 10 years, the president race has gone completely unopposed. Usually this highly sought-after position has at least 3 candidates, giving students the ability to actually make choices about who they think should lead their next students' union. There are 4 races this year that are running completely uncontested. The president race, the vice president academic race, the vice president external race, as well as the Board of Governors representative race. Now, we can't ignore the undeniable effect that COVID-19 and the pandemic broadly is having on current elections. It's definitely even a challenge to just attend remote classes, better yet run a whole SDU elections campaign online. So kudos to the candidates that are running. However, at the Augustana Forum, a time-old question about inclusivity of the SU and elections was revisited. An audience member noted how few candidates were running this year and asked all candidates what they would do to increase student engagement at the SU. Vice President Student Life candidates Daniela Carbajal and Talia Dixon both tackled inclusion in their answers. Throughout the forum, Carbajal spoke about how she was the only candidate from Augustana running this year, and how this was not an exception.
Did you know that in the history of the Students' Union, there has never been an Augustana student who sat in an executive position?
In response to creating more student engagement, Carbajal spoke directly to Augustana students.
I also want to empower students and show them that yes, an Augustana student can sit on student council, even though it's almost 100 kilometers away, and make an impact. You can have your voice heard and you can make an impact throughout the whole university. I want to empower students and show them that even though we're far away, we don't need to stay silent, and that's the biggest issue with student engagement in the electoral process, is they don't see themselves in those positions.
Dixon said that reaching out to ask people to run, something mentioned by a few candidates, is not enough because it's still based on students' connections.
I think this has been addressed a lot, and that's the idea that we need to reach out more to individuals and, encourage people to run. The problem with those approaches, though, at least in my experience, is it's all about who you know, and so we get locked within our own little governance bubble.
Dixon said that the apathy displayed by students pointed to a bigger issue within the SU, its entire perception to students.
And I think that our lack of engagement with elections, which is very disappointing, speaks to a broader issue within the Students' Union, and that's that people simply don't believe in its effectiveness or its value for them. And we all know that the Students' Union provides value to students in different ways, but we need to work to actually address that and make people see the value, as Rowan mentioned previously. I think this plays into things such as transparency, making sure that we're taking on bold stances and aren't afraid to speak up for students, even if it makes administration or other individuals upset, and fight for the communities that we typically don't serve.
The problem of inclusivity and diversity in the SU is something that definitely has been brought up every single year without fail. Hopefully candidates that are running, and especially in unopposed races, are able to address these issues through their platforms and through their advocacy. Well, that's it for the forum recap for Augustana Forum. We thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned to the Gateway for all elections-related coverage.